A bunch of you have asked me how to make cream gravy or sausage gravy, so here you go. We are going to take a 1 pound package of pork sausage. The hog was raised by Rocky Knob, processed at A.W. Meat House. We get all our meat from them if at all possible. We're going to open this package, and you can do patties or you can crumble it. I'm going to crumble it up just because it's faster, and that's what I feel like this morning. I've got a pan on. It's a dry, empty pan. I'm going to crumble this up in the pan and let it start browning. Okay, I've got the sausage in that dry pan. I have started breaking it up. You won't want this as fine as you would for something like chili or spaghetti sauce or something, hot dog sauce. I don't. I like it to be a little chunkier. Not this chunky. I'm going to keep working it up. And you can use the ground meat masher, which is probably what I'm going to bust out and use here in a second. I highly recommend that if you've not used a sausage before, that you take a little piece and you test fry it in a pan. It'll only take you a couple minutes. I'm talking a 1 or 2 bite patty to see how you need to season it. Believe it or not, this meat that we get from A.W. Meat House, it requires no seasoning. I have it pre-seasoned with a particular style when I'm doing it. So the only thing I will add extra black pepper to the gravy once I start making the base for that. But go ahead and brown your gravy, or brown your sausage, excuse me. Get that broken up, and then I'll show you what we do next. Okay, you can see our meat is browning nicely. I'm doing this slow. I'm not doing it over a real high heat because I want the meat to render its fat, but I do not want it to brown real hard. So it's not quite finished yet browning. Normally I drain grease, as you know, if you've seen my other videos, from the bottom of my pan from ground beef or whatever. You're not going to want to drain this. Fat is what is the basis for your gravy. Now you can make it with butter, but if you're making sausage gravy, you need to use the drippings from your sausage. It gives you the best flavor. So we're going to let this keep rendering or cooking the fat out, and when I think that it's rendered all it can, I'm going to lift the sausage out with a slotted spoon and put it in a bowl temporarily. And then I'm going to make my gravy in the pan, see how much fat I have, see how much flour I need, how much milk I need. And you can't tell that till your sausage is finished cooking and you take it out. But anyway, we're going to let this finish cooking and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I took up the gravy. In this pan, I have got probably 3 tablespoons of grease left. I'm going to try to make 3 to 4 cups of gravy. To this, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of flour, and then I'm going to check it and see the consistency, and I'll show you in just a minute. Making cream gravy for me is not the exact science that making gravy from chicken or beef or something, because it's just you just have to see the consistency, and people like different consistencies. So anyway, I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of flour and see if I'm happy with that, and I'll show you. Okay, I've put in 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. I can get that to focus. And I'm whisking it around, and yes, I use a whisk. I like a whisk. So, but I want to check on my consistency. Alright, that's actually pretty good. I'm going to let that cook for a couple minutes. You're not trying to brown it. I've got it over a low heat. What I'm trying to do is cook out the raw taste of that flour. So we're going to let this cook for 2 to 3 minutes. Again, keep moving it. You don't want color in this type of gravy. We're going to start adding our milk in to this gravy. The only thing I've added to this is black pepper. And we're going to slowly add it in. And you're going to add a little bit and whisk, whisk, whisk. Incorporate that, and then it'll start to thicken up on you very quickly. But that's okay. That's the point.
can see it forming little beads around the edges. And I'm going to turn this up ever so slightly so it'll cook a little bit faster. All right, you see how that started to come together and thicken? We need a little bit more milk. Maybe not. I'd do a cup at first and then a half a cup at a time thereafter until you get used to making it. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to whisk, whisk, whisk. Keep going until that starts to thicken. And we'll see if we need to add more in. Okay, we've let that cook for a couple minutes. You can see how it's thickening nicely. We're going to let it cook down for another minute. I've got bubbles under here. You got to keep it moving. You don't want it to stick. Because I think we still need a little bit more milk. Because as this cools, it will thicken. And you don't want wallpaper paste. My grandmother was one of the finest cooks ever. But her gravy was always too thick. God rest her. She's in heaven right now, giving me the evil eye probably for saying that. But she knows I loved her. Okay, we're going to put in about another half a cup of flour. Or milk. We're going to let that cook down. When we get done, we're going to check it for seasoning. Now, I know right now by looking at it, it needs more black pepper. White gravy or sawmill gravy is one of those things that needs a lot of pepper. And this is the second time I've peppered this gravy. But it needs it. You can also put crushed red pepper in it. Our sausage has a little bit, so I didn't need to add any extra. But that is just about right. I want to show you what the pour looks like on this. And it looks a little thin. I know it does. But remember, I told you that's going to thicken as it cools. And I'm not going to be stirring with this spoon again, so I'm going to taste it. Delicious. Let me tell you. All right. And that's how we make our gravy. Not hard. It just takes a little time, a little patience, and a little practice. Watch the video several times. It'll show you the right consistency. And then as this cools, it'll thicken and be perfect. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.